Hello, everyone. Today, my team, consisting of myself, Anh-Vu, Karema, Sadie, and Aladdin, will be discussing the consumer journey for sports drinks. The agenda for today is going to be the industry analysis of sports drinks, followed by the customer journey, as well as the marketing recommendations. So now we will talk about the industry analysis. For the sports drink industry, it's one that's very profitable, being a $24.44 billion industry in 2021, with the expected market value of $32.51 billion by 2027. Of this, North America has about 40% of the market shares. COVID-19 has also created an increase in demand shock by increasing sales by up to 15% due to rising home workouts. Post-COVID expectations are with demands will continue to steadily increase as inclinations towards physical fitness propels market groups. This is also supplemented by innovative and healthier options to facilitate growth. In the sports drink industry, the market is dominated by brands such as PepsiCo with Gatorade and Coca-Cola with Powerade. However, there are many other competitors joining the fray, such as Body Armor and Vitamin Water. What sports drinks does for a lot of the consumers are that they help to reduce the dangers of parchness while replenishing the electrolytes lost due to sweat. This all helps to improve the body during severe exercises and reduce the time to preparedness for intense workouts. The sports drinks also enhances performance and nourishes parities in terms of nutrients, minerals, and proteins. The current consumers are 60% male and 40% female, with the majority targeting towards young men ages 15 to 25. Our market research for sports drinks involved a survey among consumers and non-consumers. Let me repeat that again. Our market research for sports drinks involved a survey among consumers and non-consumers and text analysis of the product reviews and social media posts. The limitations to our market research is the demographics are limited to mainly just our social circle, which may not be representative of the sample of the global populations that this industry reflects. We are also at the mercy of algorithms for data gathering for the text analysis. In addition, the product reviews and social media posts are also influenced based on the user behaviors and their current mood, where externalities exist and should be understood. There's also subjective aspects where positive and negative interpretations of written words could be erroneous. Now we would discuss the customer journey for sports drink. With that, I'll pass on to Sadie to start us off on the customer journey with motivation.
Hi, everyone. We'll start at motivation, and based on the demographics of participants that we surveyed or took part in our study, we saw that the majority of persons who consume sports drink were between the age of 20 to 30. And this accounted for 89% of the participants that's participating in our study. When we factor in for relationship status, we saw that single persons also accounted for the majority of persons, which was 81.8%. And based on this, we could factor in that persons 20 to 30 years old and those who are single are those young professionals who are likely consuming these sports drinks for the boost of energy, which is needed during either study or work-related situations. Now we looked at health concern versus the boost for energy. We saw that among non-drinkers, there were health concerns were up with the taste were main factors for non-drinkers. And in the drinkers, we saw that taste was a major factor for consuming or a decision for consuming sports drinks. Then we look at what are the motivational factors. In terms of experiment, we saw that taste was a factor, And in terms of why they do it, we saw that persons wanted to replenish electrolytes level, they wanted to stay hydrated, and of course, boost energy or activity based on what we see among the younger population of consumers. And now I'll turn over to...
I'll take care of that. So, for the information search, from our data that we found from market research, it seems that our social circle and grocery stores are the biggest drivers for product awareness in both sports drinkers and non-sports drinkers. These percentages seen here are that drinkers get 53% of their awareness from stores and 45% from friends, while non-drinkers get their awareness from 40% of grocery stores and 37% from friends. Other product awareness factors consist of online and television ads and a mixing with other alcoholic beverages, or being a former athlete, or just starting to drink sports drinks at a younger age. When asked about the terms sports drink, we see variations in immediate responses, showing us a clear discrepancy in the associative network surrounding sports drinks. Those who responded as consumers of sports drinks used mainly positive terms, including electrolytes, hydrated, boost, sports, and energy, while those who are non-consumers or non-drinkers of sports drink responded with mostly negative terms, such as unhealthy, sugar being the top two choices. This shows that drinkers are aware of the benefits of the sports drinks and possibly choose to ignore the health aspects, while non-drinkers solely focus on their health and sugar intake.
Awesome. So now I will go into the evaluation part of the journey. As we look at what options are available, as Anh-Vu mentioned, there's a lot of different options, whether it's brand. So we think about what are the options that are available and what are the things that customers are evaluating to get to their choice. So people use brand, price. When we did our survey, we found that almost 50% of sports drinkers are really purchasing a specific sports drinks for taste. Second, ingredients, again, going off of what Sadie said, people are looking for a healthy option. And then third most was cost. And then when we look at a brand level, we saw that 53% of them were coming from Gatorade, 13% from Powerade. As I looked at different reviews online, it seemed that Gatorade had a much higher positive brand affirmation due to the different athletes that support it, as well as the taste. So when we look at the purchase of sports drink, the best way to look at it is that it's an attitude-based evaluation. So they're really looking for product-specific preferences, whether it's taste, cost, or ingredients. What are the beliefs of these products? A lot of people think that they're quench, they provide relief for your quench, as well as different positive or negative experiences that they've had in the past, as well as using different heuristics like what they've seen online, influencers, as well as ingredients, cost. And then one of the questions that we asked was, would you purchase only your favorite sport drinks, or would you try another brand? A lot of the options said that they would try a different brand, but really would depend on if the right attributes were there, as well as willing to try different options based off of the health aspect. So I'll kick it back to Sadie now.
Okay, so what are the decisions that actually cause for consumption? So we looked at price and products. We saw where price, consumers prefer to buy in bulk, and they actually like when it's tasty and cheap. When we look at product, taste was a priority for the decision to purchase, and followed by the need for energy. The brand of the sports drinks was also a factor, and also the packaging was also another factor that was among consumers. And in terms of a place and location, we saw that grocery stores accounted for 80% of persons making decisions to purchase, followed by drugstore and other stores. We saw that the location of where these the sports drinks were placed in these stores also played a significant factor in decision for one purchasing. In terms of promotion, we saw that a word of mouth, mostly friends recommending the drink, made a major decision in a person's purchasing for consumption, which we found it was 44%, and followed by the grocery stores carrying it, of course, personal shopping for ordinary day-to-day items for household, so they end up purchasing it, and followed by other stores. However, what we saw were like online advertisement didn't play a major factor in persons to deciding to consume or purchase sports drink.
And then lastly, I'll wrap up with satisfaction. So as we look at whether the consumer was satisfied or not, and if their expectations were met, we asked, what makes you want to consume sports drinks? So their level of satisfaction would be because they would want a boost of energy, they really enjoy the taste, or they don't like sports drinks at all, so they don't buy them, whether they got that replenishment of electrolytes, being able to use it as an additive, going out socially, and then just staying hydrated. So really using it as a source of feeling better, or, as a health option. So when asked if they were likely to recommend sports drinks to a friend, 9 of the 30 respondents said, they were 4 on the 4 scale of the 5, and then 4 respondents said 5. So really depending on what aspect of the sports drink that these consumers are looking for, it's whether they would recommend or not.
So for post-decision sharing, similar to what Karema just said, for consumer recommendations, based on our survey, we found that around 43.3% of the consumers would recommend sports drinks to friends, meaning that there is a potential for larger word-to-mouth marketing. In the social influence aspect, there's a high cross-channel audience for sports drinks, where the cross-channel audience are the total number of followers across all tracked social media channels. There seems to be an increasing number, as you can see here with Gatorade at 0.59%. In addition, the market sentiment from amongst 150 users and 260 mentions of sports drinks are overall neutral or positive, with 31% being positive, 3% being negative, and 66% being neutral. Through the customer journey, we would like to make 5 recommendations. The first recommendation being that where we can would be price. Where can we garner more demands with lower price? And this could be done in packaging, as it is the least important attribute for the product. Packaging change could also lead to new sustainability promotions away from plastic and entice a new generation with social responsibilities to reuse bottles or create kits that allow reduction of plastic waste. For recommendation number 2, to convert non-users, currently the sports drink consumption is skewed towards men and the younger population, so we would make an effort to market towards the older population with an emphasis on health and increased nutrient consumptions, while also creating a female-focused drink or use more marketing to showcase more women athletes to help change drinking perceptions. Increased presence in online retail stores and various venues such as esports would help with more online social media and offline word of mouth. In recommendation number 3, we want to create sports drinks that cater more to taste and elicit a need. We want to be able to showcase how much better sports drinks can make someone and how this can increase healthier aspects of a person's life when they're either an athlete or a non-athlete, because from what we surveyed with non-users, some of the data with 33.3% here saying they don't really have a need for having this sports drink, but we want to help to create that need. And this also helps to maintain, we want to also promote and showcase that we want to help to maintain mental and physical attributes as one gets older through exercise and drinking sports drinks. In recommendation number 4, drinkers are often driven by more functional versus pleasure motives. Non-drinkers have similar needs to boost workouts and increase their exercise regimen without the fatigue, but they prefer other methods to satisfy their needs, and they have negative concerns about sports drinks. Other concerns are around sugar and unhealthiness. So we would propose, we need to go back one slide. Other concerns are around sugar and unhealthiness. So we would propose to give consumers more control in terms of psychological ownership of their intake by promoting alternatives such as using powders or syrup additives. And last and not least, recommendation number 5. The biggest concern among all users is the sugar content. We would recommend that companies and marketers work towards working at a health angle and asking companies to look for sugar alternatives that do not take away from the taste. Having even more healthier options and reducing current sugar contents in all sports drinks would give a boost to the sports drink industry. And with that, we would like to thank everyone for their attention, and we will welcome any questions. Thank you.